Evening, people. Welcome back to the channel. It is, I was going to say at Big Steve MCFC, but I've just done one on there. So it is at We Are the South Stand MCFC. This is the new regular panel show with the guys, Martin, Tone, Nobbins, Daps. Daps has been in the background waffling for 10 minutes. As soon as we start, he gets up and walks off. So I don't know what he's doing. But listen, lads, you know, if we'd have started this show a few years ago, we'd be coming on here every stream, laughing, joking, having a brew, talking about RT again, and being dead, like, you know, having a great time. But we've just been slapped again, 5-1, off probably the worst team and the worst fan base you want to get slapped off 5-1. Arsenal. I mean, we've got a lot to talk about tonight, but I think it's better to start off at the game. Nobbins, I'm going to go to you first. Good to see you again, mate. I hope you're well. 5-1 at the Emirates. Tactically, I know you like your tactics. What did you think of the game? Where did we get it wrong? Was it down to individual mistakes? And could we done anything better, in your opinion?
It's hard, isn't it? I think, you know, there was a reason why I predicted us to lose reasonably comfortably, and it was because from that perspective, I couldn't really see an avenue of how City could get a result if Arsenal just, you know, did the bare minimum and basically turned up. We all know the issues that City have had this season, and basically Arsenal are perfectly set up to capitalise on that. You know, that we know that we've got a frail midfield. Arsenal have an incredibly strong and physical and athletic midfield. That means that we struggle just with the very basics of even trying to build out from the back. You know, we saw with like in particular that I think it was like it didn't actually result in a goal, but it was that ball from Ortega to Kovacic. Now it's bad by Ortega, but for example, if that's Rodri, he probably somehow makes it work because he's just that good. And is it just that on repeat? It meant that we weren't able to really get a proper foothold at any point in the game. We were, even without that error, we're always going to be on the back foot. It was always going to be a really impossible task, in my view, to try to, as I say, have some sort of true control in the match. I felt we did okay in the first half, in all honesty. I felt we deserved that goal, you know. I felt that at that point, 1-1 was about right. But then, as has happened all season, it happened against PSG, happened against Feyenoord, happened against Man United, Brentford. The first bit of adversity, like an error is made, normally you go, okay, cool. An error's been made, whatever. We move on. There's still 30 minutes left in the game. Capitulation. So I would love to sit here and talk about, you know, City could have done this differently, and maybe Pep set us up like that, and maybe if the tactics were like that, it could have been a different day. But I just don't think that this season we're really built for games like this, to be honest. Like with the personnel we've got available, and with like a frail mindset that seems to have creeped into a lot of these players again. Like, you know, one error and all of a sudden it's like, right, well, that's it, game's gone. Whereas really, after the second goal, you regroup, think about it, you go, right, there's still 30 minutes left. We can come back into this game. Within like 5 minutes or whatever it was, I can't remember exactly, we've conceded another. And now all of a sudden the game's done. So yeah, I'd love to sit here and talk about next time we can just do that. But I just think it's I think it's a struggle, an uphill struggle this season, and there's a reason why we got battered against Spurs, now Arsenal, PSG, etc. So it's just one of those. I think we just got to sort of accept that's what we are this season and take it, basically.
No, you're right. You are right. And Martin, I was going to say to you, when we get that equaliser, I was in the stadium. I don't know if you went, but I was in there, and I felt like the crowd went flat for about 5 minutes. And I thought, you know what? If we could just get a little foothold in the game here and have 10 minutes of passing the ball about and a couple of chances, we might get something. And then the gift that keeps on giving, Manchester City Football Club, Phil Foden with a mad pass. And then bang, before we even get settled, before we can celebrate, before we get our bearings, we're 2-1 down. And like what Nobbins says, there's not an awful lot we could have done. Square pegs, round holes, Nunes, right back, etc. But to get a bit of a lifeline and then throw it away, I feel like this season, Martin, we're just giving gifts too easily. And it's not a Manchester City thing to do, but it's crazy.
Do you know what? I mean, I did manage to get down there, but, you know, I did enjoy the firework display and the fire show. It was nice of Arsenal to save up their 2 years of fireworks for us. Never done that for anyone else, mind you. But I've got to say this. I thought the stadium was going a bit with 20 minutes to go. Like Nobby said, you know, after about 25 minutes onwards, though we sort of started getting a little bit of joy. I'm loving Marmoush's corners, by the way. Hey presto, we found a corner taker. Don't know where that's come from. But the first goal, Stones is doing something that under 10s are told not to do. Don't play the ball across your own box when you've got 2 or 3 men stood on the edge. You know, yes, it was a Kanji as well. And then you get the equaliser, like you said. And like you said, 60-odd seconds, was it? Foden does the exact same thing John Stones has done for the first goal and plays a suicide ball. I'm like, and I've defended for, listen, I think the criticism on Phil Foden this season has been so over the top. It is unreal. I don't understand it. But
really?
Yeah, I do. I think people have gone, because the one thing with Foden is, Foden's one of them players, and I go all the way back. I think, Nobbins, you correct me if I'm wrong, whether it was Southampton game, another game, could have had a couple of goals, a couple of assists.
But don't you think he's get? I'll be honest. I don't think Foden has got. I think, and Martin, you know my thought on it. I think that Gundogan, I think that Walker, I think that Bernardo. I think a lot of the older players have got far more criticism than Foden has when ultimately their legs are gone, mate. Whereas with Foden, he hasn't got that. That's where I think, and also Foden's being judged now at player of the season level. So,
do you want me to be straight with Foden?
Yeah, go on.
And I'm going to be honest, and then someone's going to take this the wrong way. Please do not take this the wrong way as what this is going to sound. The City fans who go to the games, the local boys, are defending Foden.
Yeah.
The fans who are not Mancunians are questioning Foden, rightly or wrongly. And I don't mean it in that way as it sounds. This is what I'm trying to
No, it's a valid point.
It is. Because they've got the opinion, because he's from the academy and he's Mancunian, he's protected.
He's just been player of the season. When you say,
and I see both sides, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying wrong.
And by the way, let me be clear. I'm not talking on last season, because when I hear the bollocks that people start saying, see, he wasn't that good last season based on how he's performing now, that is a complete load of nonsense. Last season, he was player of the season for a reason. But you then put him on a pedestal where you expect him to be stepping up and winning you games like he did last season. I just feel at times Foden hasn't. It does feel at times a little bit with Foden like he is a bit of a luxury player. That he like. I don't know. I'm just saying what I've seen this season. And whereas with Grealish, I always know if Grealish is on the pitch, and the different subject going forward, but defensively, I always know Grealish will get back and put a shift in. Whereas sometimes, I'm not saying Foden won't run back, but it's like sometimes he's running back, but I don't think he always knows exactly what he's running back for. He's just running back because he has to.
So, what do you think, Tom? What do you think? Sorry.
I think it's what Martin said there about fans are sort of on Foden's back. I'm not sure in what way. I mean, if they're saying he's not been as good this season, that's genuine. That's fine. I get that. But if we're saying we're writing him off type thing, which is what maybe I've misunderstood what Martin said. And I know Martin's not saying that. He's saying that on behalf of things.
That's what I don't understand, Tom. So this is what I don't understand. I think when I ask the question, what is Foden? People are like, well, I don't know if it's a 10. I don't know if it's an 8. I don't know if it's a... So they're not questioning this season. They're questioning going forward now. And that's the bit I can't get my head around.
Do you know what I think it is? Do you know what I think it is? I'll be honest with you. I get a lot of comments like Martin from a lot of the foreign fans that say Phil Foden's not delivering and all that. And to them, it's different. They love Manchester City, but they're far away and they're focusing on the team, and he's not performing, so we need to criticise him. We're a little bit closer to the club and around the academy players, and we like we say, we like to protect our own. So he's always going to get a pass because he's been so good the last few seasons. He's always going to get a pass. But it still doesn't make it right that when we've hit the shit, a lot of the older guys have got criticism, the Walkers and everyone, people saying the legs have gone, Gundogan's not doing it. But this is the time when we need Phil Foden to step up. This is the time when Phil Foden has to lead by example. If Gundogan can't get around the pitch, he has to get back and help him. If Bernardo Silva's ran into the ground, he has to fucking show that, listen, I've got another 10, 15% here. I'll do that running. You drop in here, let me press. And I think that's what we weren't getting from Phil. And we were getting because we know what he's capable of, we were getting frustrated performances. We're all coming out of the game going, Foden done nothing again. Foden done nothing again. Then he's just had this recent run where he's got 6 in 6 or whatever. And he looked a little bit like that Phil Foden. So we know it's in there. But I feel like, when you've not got a Rodri in midfield, he's not getting that same pass into the pockets. He's not feeling that, protected. He's doing other things because the team's all over the place. And I just feel like I understand the criticism, I do. But we know it's in there. And this is what I think Pep's done. He's brought in this Nico kid now. I think he's going to be the legs in there. And hopefully Phil Foden now start to create that, spark. But we've seen it for England. The drop-off from Manchester City to England in the summer for Foden, he got criticised nationwide for it. And we were all thinking something was wrong at home. Or, there were rumours about him being poorly and his misses and all. And everyone's like, whoa, going mad. But
Steve, do you know what I've spoken on this before. Do you know what I saw? Because I saw with England, and this is where maybe when I'm talking about a luxury playing, by the way, I'm with what all of you guys are saying. Don't ever think I'm writing Phil Foden off at all, right? I'm judging him based on last season. When I watched him for England, you've got to remember he was playing in a completely different style of football to what he is used to and what he's come up through our academy playing. For City, he's playing a style of football that is based on the best form of defence is don't lose the ball, right? It's forward thinking. For England, it's the complete opposite. The best form of defence is going 1-0 up and then basically just going back and defending. And that's where I felt for England at times, he didn't look right because he's like, this is all new to me. I'm used to keeping the ball. Whereas now it's ultimately running backwards and doing the job of a 6'8" that he never is. And that's where I am with him. Nobbins,
he gave the ball away 3 times yesterday, straight after that goal. Phil Foden doesn't usually give the ball away, to be fair. No. But this is the problem. But yeah, go on, Nobbins. What do you think?
So I just want to say that in the first instance, I think I just inherently disagree that Foden's been bad this season, objectively, in the first instance. Not as good as last season, but people are acting like he's been like dog all season or something. I'm just personally not having that. I think there have been some really good performances this season. I was really impressed, for example, with the performances against like Southampton, Bournemouth, Brighton, to name a few. The hardest, or maybe like the trickiest thing to think about, I think, is that there are far better players than Foden in this City side who are also underperforming. Kevin De Bruyne, for example, is a far better footballer than Phil Foden. And Erling Haaland is a far better footballer than Phil Foden. But equally, they are also struggling. I don't think there's been any fantastic player for City this season. Now, that should immediately tell us that this is nothing to do with an individual who's just now all of a sudden... Let's even say that actually, no, Foden has been shit. Even though I don't agree with it, let's say he's been absolutely abhorrent all season. So, do we think it's likely that someone goes from being player of the season to forgetting how to play football?
No.
Doesn't seem likely to me, especially because, again, no idea, people like to act like last season was the only good season he's had. He's been good for City since 2020, at least, and a regular in the side. So has he gone from being very good for 4 to 5 years, including player of the season, and then just gone crap overnight? Doesn't seem likely to me, when you also consider that everyone else around him has also been poor. It's because there is no platform for success in this side. If Kevin De Bruyne came on against Arsenal, there's 20 minutes left to go, he's our best player. What did he do? Nothing. That's not a slate at Kevin De Bruyne. I'm just making a point that even a player of De Bruyne's quality can't do it because there isn't a platform there for success. I think, Steve, you mentioned the Rodri point. That's absolutely correct. Foden consistently demands the ball. Like, he does this move where he's like, give me the ball here. He wants it in the dangerous areas. We see what happens if you pass it to him in those dangerous areas. When you've got Gundogan,
the amount of times he goes like that, give me the ball.
Exactly, yes.
I don't think Kovacic and Gundogan are brave enough to slip that little pass in.
So 100%, yeah, and 100%, yeah, and it's not about having a go at Kovacic and Bernardo and Gundogan because they aren't Rodri. It's not their fault, but it is the reality of the situation. So when people say Foden needs to quote like do more or whatever, it's like he can't do anything if he's asking for the ball and not getting it. Do you know what I mean? So there's that to consider. And again, it's this weird hyper focus on one player who actually hasn't been bad all season. If you do think he's been bad this season, I actually don't know what to tell you. You're just wrong. When the entire squad has been underperforming, that is the reality. That there's far more. This is a multifaceted problem, as we all know. We've experienced this season. Doesn't matter because people say, "Oh, just don't play Foden, play Kevin De Bruyne in there." Like I remember after the Forest game, Foden didn't play, and people are like, "Oh, you see, Foden doesn't need to play. Now we're going to go in a massive winning streak." And then he doesn't play, and we end up getting, was it battered by Juventus or something? No. I think we dropped points against Palace or someone like that. The issues are still there, regardless of personnel. So again, I don't really know what people are thinking. If that is their conclusion, I would suggest they haven't been watching City. Certainly not with the requisite context.
Yeah, Foden has no way been our worst player. De Bruyne, you've mentioned him there, has been, I love Kev. I think he's our best ever player when he retires or leaves us. But Foden's been better than De Bruyne, in my view, this season, without doubt. And if someone said to me right now, who do you want to start for the biggest game that's coming up, which is Real Madrid, Foden, I tell you what, I would put Foden in that team at the 10 or 8 or wherever you want, above anyone else in that squad, even now. Above De Bruyne, above anybody in that team, because I know what Phil Foden can do, and we have seen glimpses of it. And yeah, sorry, that's
Tone. I agree with you, right? I do. I think, especially over recent weeks, I think De Bruyne's been really bad. Bit of context to it, though, and this is where I guess at times I've come out and I will call Foden out, because when I see De Bruyne called out, Gundogan called out, Walker when he was here called out, maybe even Bernardo a bit as well, and Kovacic, it's because I feel it's very easy to target people who ultimately, De Bruyne is looking bad because give De Bruyne a week's rest, he looks good, right? Play him twice in a week, he looks bad, right? And I sometimes hold on, let's hold fire on the older players who ultimately they're not able to get about the pitch as much now and talk about. So it's just a bit of context. But I do agree with you. I think De Bruyne has been ultimately, and that's why I don't think he didn't start against Arsenal, did he? For that exact reason.
He's not started many games in the last couple of weeks, which concerned me, because you said they're about 2 games in a week. He's not even playing 2 games in a week and he's looking slow. Like I said, I don't want to criticise Kev. I love Kev, but you see where I'm coming from. But people are intent on Foden. He's been better than Bernardo. He's been better than Gundo. He's been better than De Bruyne. I could name 3 or 4 others on that list as well. And as I say, if I'm starting the Real Madrid team, there is no way I'm leaving Foden out of that 11. Not a chance. Kev, maybe. Gundo, definitely. Foden, no way. He starts.
Again, with
like I said before, we mentioned the players that aren't in the side that complement these players, and this is the reason why some players are dropped off, because it's a fact. If you've got a Rodri in the midfield, the players just ahead of him can relax a little bit more. They can be braver. They know Rodri's going to cover him. At the minute, what you're seeing is if City lose the ball sloppy like we do, and a team's attack on transition, you've got Foden, everyone busting a gut and getting back. And it's not how we play, you know what I mean? That it's not how we play. We don't want to see Erling Haaland running back 60 yards chasing someone because we give the ball away. It's not what we want to do. But transfer deadline day yesterday, we've spent the money. Pep's gone and said, this is what I need. We've spent the dough. Apparently, we're not allowed to spend our own money anymore because Pep can't do it. He can't coach it out of him. He's got to spend. So, you hear all that nonsense in it. But this midfielder, we said it last week. We bought Khusanov, we bought Reis, we bought Marmoush, but the elephant in the room was legs in midfield. How are we going to get someone? We've pulled NICO GONZALEZ out the hat. Obviously, looking at the highlights, talking to a few of the Porto fans that we know, they rate him. Pep obviously rates him. Does this now give us another dimension where your Fodens and the players can now think, hold on a minute, I can get into this space. This guy is going to find me. Because if you watch him, he's very similar to Rodri in the fact he can get out of tight spaces when he's under pressure. You know, I feel like Kovacic can do that, but he's lost a yard, so he gets caught or they take the ball. I feel like this guy can get the ball zipped at him like Ortega did, but he can ping it off or bring it into his turn and then sit here on the break. I feel like now we might start to see other players coming to life and having a good section to the season.
100%. Yeah, from what I've seen of him and what I've read of him and people who watch him every week have said, we've got a mega player on our hands. City have been tracking him about 9 years or something since he's 14. So it's certainly not a panic buy. Xavi and Iniesta, two of the best players I've ever played, have said he's one of the best players and the biggest regret we have selling. He is like Busquets more than anybody else on the planet. So that to me is pretty rave review. So clearly a City-type player. He can do the 6 from what I've seen. He's primarily the 6, can also go into the 8. Looks comfortable with both. Very rarely loses the ball. Very clever with his body positioning. He looks absolutely fantastic. I think it's going to be a brilliant signing. And to answer your question, it will absolutely help, not just Foden. It'll help everybody around. The back line now will look and go, we've got someone here. Because Kovacic, look, I like Kovacic, but he's better as the 8. He's not a 6. He just doesn't have the discipline. He starts walking off, wandering off, doing these runs, which he's good at. But he forgets that, hang on, Cover, if you've gone bloody forward, mate, there's no one here. So that will help Kovacic as well. It will probably help Hundo.
Well, the other one I was going to say is we just said before that Bernardo ain't been great this season, but Bernardo's been playing a role that's a bit different to him. So maybe it might also allow Bernardo to be a bit more like Bernardo as well. Nobbins, what do you think on him? Because I know you've done a lot of research and a lot of different DMs. So what's your thoughts on him?
Yes, so I finished my scouting of him last night. That's my next video that I'm working on, my analysis of him. Very excited, very, very excited. He's a lot better than I thought he was going to be. I think that again, Steve's already touched on it. It's a signing which will inherently improve everyone at City, because we saw it against Arsenal. We've seen it many times this season. One of our biggest issues is that we have a defensive 5, let's say like a 3-2. And then an offensive 5, like a 3-2. Now, normally there would be a bridge between the two. That's Rodri. You know, in the past, Gundogan, for example, a few years ago. Now there is a massive disconnect between the two, and our players, our midfielders who are deeper, like Bernardo, Gundo, Kova, they can no longer find the likes of Marmoush, the likes of Foden, the likes of De Bruyne. There isn't that connectivity and bridge between the two. NICO GONZALEZ can be and will be absolutely that for City. So he's going to improve us going forwards and on ball, because we do need a better passer from deep in there. With losing Rodri, we've lost that. Again, it's not a dig on Bernardo, Kova, but they just aren't that sort of player. So we'll have got that back. But also that it's like the defensive solidity as well. Like Tone's absolutely right. He's a 6-8 hybrid, so he can, in theory, fill in for Rodri. And that's what he'll obviously do this season. And that would just make us more competitive, and strong and assured in the centre. Again, the press resistance is there. The even more exciting thing, I think, for me is obviously next season, Rodri's coming back, and I think that with this signing, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that basically overnight, so with this signing and with Rodri coming back, City will go from having one of the worst midfields in the Premier League to, in my view, probably the best in the world. I don't think that's hyperbole. I think that's probably just accurate to have Rodri and Nico in that pivot. I don't think there's one better.
The pivot that I spoke on this last night, and for me, I think there was a period probably where Rodri was doing a kind of 6-8 role by himself, right?
Yes.
Last season, back into the season, when it got to the point where Rodri was probably a little bit tired because he was about 3 seasons in of doing it, it became a Rodri Kovacic pivot. And I just have a feeling that I think there's a reason why we've gone and got a Spanish player, a Spanish-speaking player. I think I've been thinking about it, and you look at the age of him as well, the fact that It's almost like, I'm not going to say the changing the guard, but it's like kind of, you've got the master and you've got the person to learn from him.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what
that
I was
La Masia
thinking.
education is massive, I think. Yeah.
And the fact they can both ultimately do the 6-8 role, that it's the perfect pivot for me. It really is.
Yeah, I think they partner each other really well. I think that's why going for someone like Zubimendi would have been a mistake, because he's too similar to Rodri. NICO Gonzalez is a bit more. He's a bit more there in terms of like covering distance. I would say I think he can cover for Rodri's weaknesses a bit more than someone like Zubimendi. So I think that as a partnership, as a duo, it would work really nicely. And I'm genuinely very excited at the signing. I think it's the most important one that of all the players we brought in for sure.
And it's someone about it.
Sorry, Martin. Just talking. I'm going to bring you in here. Just talking on the new signings. Obviously, that part we just spoke about, the midfield, the right back position with Kyle Walker leaving. He seems to not trust Rico Lewis in there because he's playing a Mateus Nunes at right back. Mateus Nunes at right back is a strange one. I see him do some decent things and get up that line well. He's very reluctant to cross the ball in the box, which is strange to me, because when Savinho did it once yesterday, Haaland got on the end of it. So it's very mad. And I feel like Manchester City might start to cross more now with a NICO Gonzalez in midfield, because if teams break on us, transition on us, we've got somebody there who can win the ball back. Whereas at the minute, I think Pep's absolutely shitting himself, saying, don't throw the ball in the box, because if it gets headed away, we haven't got the legs. But Khusanov, he had the debut, mad debut. Yeah, he's not been in since. Martin, I've got a feeling that he's going to be right back. I've got a feeling Pep's going to make him a right back. I don't know about you. I mean, we've got a perfect game coming up on Saturday against Leyton Orient. No disrespect, to give these new signings legs, and to the players aren't really playing, to try new things. But where do you think Khusanov sits in this side? Or somebody said maybe he's going to come in at centre back and Akanji's going to go to right back, like in the treble season. But I don't think Akanji can get up that line.
No, it's a weird one. This is why Cambiasso would have been perfect for me, but it looks like that might be on hold till the summer. I don't like Nunes at right back. You know the weird thing with Nunes is, when he was on the left-hand side, he was putting balls in. He was doing what he wasn't doing on the right. I don't know. It's very weird with him at the minute. I'm not keen on Nunes at right back. I'm not giving up on him, but I don't want him as a right back. Khusanov, I don't know if he can play right back. I've not looked at it deep enough. Victor Hayes, could he go right back? I don't know. I'm intrigued to see to where these two actually fit. I think for the short term, it's probably going to be Akanji that'll go out there.
Yeah,
I think it'll be Akanji.
Do you know what? There's one thing that was really apparent for me in the well, it's been apparent to me all this season, probably a bit last season, but the Arsenal game in particular. It's leading the line, right? Without Diaz, we've got no one leading the line. And when I say leading the line, I don't mean captain. I mean someone that's just putting people in the right position, telling people where to be. Now, if
being assertive.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's
Akanji's the perfect example. You put Diaz next to Akanji. Diaz talks him through the whole game, position-wise. He plays great. You ask Akanji, against Chelsea, he should have helped Khusanov in that goal. And yesterday, he caused the first fucking goal. Yeah. So he's got that bozo gene in him. He needs someone holding his hand. Keith Curle used to hold Kit Simons' his hand. Take Keith Curle out of City and put Kit Simons at centre-back. It's a fucking disaster.
But even if we're being real with John Stones, the minute the Ruben Diaz arrived at City, the minute he arrived, there were games where he was pushing John Stones into position. And Stones was fine with that, because Stones, Akanji, they're footballers that are more comfortable with the ball at their feet, right? They're ball-playing defenders, and they're fine with that. They're fine being allowed to play football. Ruben Diaz is better being that enforcer at the back and organising. And if you go and look at Vitor Hayes, what I've heard of him is when he arrived at the club, who was it we got him from? Was it
Palmeiras?
Palmeiras. When he arrived at Palmeiras, I heard although a young kid, he was already more than comfortable to tell players where you should be and positioning. And I think City have seen that and thought, right, we need a leader, but we need someone that can learn from Ruben Diaz and learn from the rest. Because a bit like with Laporte and Diaz, at times I felt like two alpha males, it doesn't work so much. You need someone that's willing to learn from the other. So I just look at this whole transfer window now in hindsight, when you're looking at Marmoush, maybe a bit more experienced, 25-year-old can come in and impact straight away. But I think City have looked at this transfer window and gone, right, we ain't going to win the league, right? Champions League, we are where we are. We could go and spend, 70 million on a load of plasters that are 28 years old, come in, hit the ground running straight away. But ultimately, we're still not going to win the league. Or alternatively, what we could do is we need to go out and we need to rebuild for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And when I look at these players right now, that's what it looks like. We can't expect too much of them right now. But by the start of next season, I expect seeing all of these young lads featuring a lot more.
But that isn't going to happen, Daps. That is not going to happen. People are looking at NICO GONZALEZ. Let's be straight. They are looking at NICO GONZALEZ like some saviour, and he's going to have so much pressure. His second game per City is likely to be Real Madrid at home. Yeah. And if he does not perform, this fan base will turn on him. Oh, he's not ready. What we doing it? And this is where they're at now, the pressure levels.
Yeah. Some of
I don't think so, me. I don't think so. We can't turn on one of our own after two plays.
We shouldn't.
Who fucking turns up online and says something, but they're just dickheads. Yeah. We get dickheads in every chat. Just fuck them off. The ones that are in the stadium ain't turning on no one. We've seen players at that. We've seen players at Main Road and at that Etihad Stadium who were absolute dog shit, week in, week out, dog shit. And we've still sang the fucking name, pissed up at our time, because that's what we do. But I know what you're saying. The kid's got a lot of pressure. But has he got pressure? Because imagine if we were going for a league and we lost Rodri now mid-season and we brought this kid in and then we started to drop. We know what we are this season. We're a 1 step forward, 2 step back, 3 step forward, 1 step back. I think it's just going to be like that. And I think this could be the perfect time for him. Because if we can get him primed and primed up ready for next season, World Club Cup, 20 games under his belt, 25 games under his belt, and then he's ready next season, I think we've got an advantage then. We don't have to bring as many in the summer because these lads will be ready to go. But you know what he's saying? He's going to get a baptism of fire. Leyton, Orient away and Real Madrid.
I mean, tell you what, just wait till he walks into Brisbane Road and he has a walk around that dressing room. Like,
Can I just tell you a mad one? Steve, you know Callum, Portuguese Callum?
Yeah.
Do you know what he said to me Sunday night?
Well,
he was obviously ranting about the Arsenal game and saying, he goes, for me, against Real Madrid, if we bring in Khusanov with his pace and strength, he'll throw Vinicius all over the place. Vinicius won't be able to deal with him. He said, we bring in Vitor Reis, he'll have Mbappe up. And I go, hold on.
Just tell him, Leyton, lay off the fucking spike.
I'll go, fuck it.
Yeah, it's Sunday night and sack it.
But listen, we've got quite a few super chats. Just want to go through.
Yeah, read some super chats. Some super chats.
So first one from, I've got to be careful with these names. Bert Shady saying, go on the boys. What a panel.
Mate, Bert Shady is the best name ever. Bert, has over the years, has killed me with that name. Will the real Bert Shady please stand up? No, appreciate the support. Hit the like button, people.
Keep the show going. Some dog, one of our mods, saying, thoughts on back three till everyone fit.
Would anyone do Stones at right back, by the way? I want to take anyone do the Stones to right back.
Stones or Akanji.
That would be great for about 90 minutes until he gets injured for like 3 minutes.
That's the point.
That's the issue. That's the issue. As a concept, it's great, but we all know that we can't really rely on him anymore.
Who would the back three be then?
That's where I find this weekend interesting, because I want to see Khusanov at right back, and I want to see Vitor Reis play in the middle, right? You're thinking, right, do we play Stones alongside him? But then you think, do we really risk John Stones against Leyton? You can't risk it, can you?
Not with Real Madrid a few days later.
No, you can't.
He won't risk it.
No, you can't risk him, can you? But as one of the more experienced players, you'd want to play with one of the younger lads against him. But that's where we are. Another one from Bert Shady saying, good January window under the circumstances, but summer we need 2 elite central midfielders and a top fullback. I agree on the fullback. We get that we won't be far off. Top 5 is a must, though. Yeah. Sorry, just quickly on the top 5. Does anyone know? It's looking like England are going to get 5 Champions League places. If an English team win the Europa League, does that mean one of the Champions League places goes to them?
No. It just becomes like a bonus one,
An additional, right. So we then get only 6. Right, okay, because someone tried saying that to me. Okay, yeah, I agree. Top 5 is a must. Next one is from Omar, who said, God help us if Foden is the heir to KDB. No, I don't think. Different types of players, isn't they? They've never been the same type of player.
Also, no one's the heir to KDB.
No.
There isn't a player in the world out there. De Bruyne is a once-in-a-generation player. Yeah. There is no one even close to touching his creative outputs. No one comes remotely close.
Yep, agreed. Another one from Bert Shady for you, Steve. Steve, have you heard if we don't get top 5, Khaldoon is going to axe the chicken balti pies of the concourse?
Khaldoon, you can't be doing that.
No, they've already moved them. You can't get them in the main bit of 115.
No, they've moved it round, so you go around 115 bar. You have to go back out to the other bar. It's a bit weird.
The other day, I went there for one, and they were going, "We've only got, I think, cheese and onion or something." I was thinking,
they don't want the Balti pie army in the 115 bar, man. It's riffraff. They want to keep us out of the way down there eating the chicken balties.
Next one from Dr. Footy, PhD in hateology. Right, okay. Remember, we never win at home, we never win away. Yeah, it's never been more relevant than this season, to be fair. Coming out of PSG singing that. Hold tight, City Luke TV, saying, evening, lads, keep up the great work. Same to you, Luke. Keep fighting.
Luke, thank you.
Right, this one from Micah. Can we speak about Wirtz or Musi joining in the summer?
Did we speak about that last week? Did we speak about that last week?
I don't know.
I was on one show and I watched Wirtz, and I've never watched him as closely. I knew he was a good player, but I watched him against, I can't think who he played, but he hit the post 3 times anyway. But the first touch, I got really excited watching him. I thought, I can see him playing for us. And then they said, would you have Wirtz or Musiala? I mean, they're both elite. I'd have them both. But I think Wirtz, and with a possible McAtee interest from Bayer Leverkusen, I don't know if we could maybe get that one over the line. But I mean, Nobbins, you've probably done some more research on him than me, but I think he's a fantastic player. I really do. I think he's got everything we need.
Yeah, he's a lovely footballer. I really rate him. I don't know what the current situation is. I thought he was signing an extension. I don't know the exact ins and outs, but in terms of him as a player, what he would offer is what City need more so than Musiala. Musiala is more of a carry-first player. Wirtz is more of a pass-first player. That doesn't mean the other can't do the other thing, but in general, Wirtz's first instinct is to pass. Musiala's is to carry and dribble. And City don't need any more dribblers, but especially if De Bruyne did leave, then we would obviously need another passer. If it could happen, that'd be lovely. I just can't see it happening. It just seems destined that he's either going to stay at Leverkusen and then ultimately end up at Bayern, like a lot of Germans in the Bundesliga do.
I think
if you can get him somehow, wonderful.
Champions League football is going to be essential for that.
To be honest, I don't see either of them.
No.
Well, do you know what I think will happen? Because you've got Echeverria that everyone has completely forgotten about. I know he's only a young lad, but he's the same age. I think he's a year older than Victor Hayes, or same age. He's 19. He's coming in. You have also got, like Nobbins just said, you go with the Rodri, Gonzalez midfield. Then you have your one in front. You've got Marmoush. You've still got,
at the same time,
you've still got all these boys to get in.
I hear you, but at the same time, we don't know if it's right or wrong, but we have been told during this transfer window that we're going to go big in the summer. So it's
Yeah. No, we will.
It's where are we?
The trouble is, a Musiala reverts is a £200 million.
Yeah, I agree. I'm
so
not
200
on those.
With wages, agent fees, fee. You're looking at 200. KDB would have to go. I'm not sure. I think KDB may stay another year.
Yeah, if that's the thing I was going to bring up was KDB was. Everyone's saying we'll spend big. If we spend big, obviously players are going to have to go. And there are plenty that are on the, not chopping block, that's the wrong word, but there's Kovacic, Bernardo, KDB, just three off the top of my head that could possibly go. But if KDB stays a year, then players like Wirtz are probably not attainable because
of wages.
It's
wages. But
it's also game time, and I know there's more games, but you can't be sat there saying to De Bruyne, no matter what his age is and stuff, you can't be paying him 400 grand a week and saying it's all right, mate.
That's why I think he goes, Tony. That's why I'm pretty certain he goes. It'll be like, remember when we had Aguero last season? You know, Aguero wanted, we offered Aguero, I believe, a pays you play, and he wanted it fixed. Yeah. I think it'll be the same with De Bruyne now. Look, for me, we have to let De Bruyne go. We have to. I think it's time. Otherwise, we could have another Kyle Walker situation on our hands. Just quite a few more super chats to get through. That's the one we just had. Thank you, Micah. Next one, Steve rattled and cooked that Arsenal fan on Big Six last night. That's what I'm going to watch tonight.
Great performance.
How did you do that?
Basically, I was in the cooking pot, surrounded by vegetables, and the heat was getting hotter. And I got out the cooking pot, punched fuck out of them all, threw them in the cooking pot. Stirred it up a bit, took the piss a little bit, and then just had a great show. So yeah, it was good. It was. I'm going to get a BAFTA for it. I've been nominated, I think. So watch it. Big Six show. How somehow we get beat 5-1, but we managed to turn it round. Yeah. Good.
No, what you need to do, Steve, is explain to them the definition of what humble means, because they don't. They clearly do not understand it. Yeah, they're not getting the meaning behind it at all.
No, they're not. And that's going to come back full circle in a big circle and bite them right back on the ass, because you've got grown men who get in number 9, stay humble, printed on the back of the shirts and that. My kids have got, one of the kids has got treble on the back of his shirt, and the other one's got 4 in a row. So let's not start bringing kids' shirts out, because he's 60-year-old with a stay humble shirt. My kids have got shirts he could only dream of. You know what I mean? So it's mental, but listen, that's just the way they are. They're unique, But we spoke about it. We've given them the props. They're better than us at the minute. They beat us 5-1. You beat anyone 5-1, you got to give them the thing. But at the end of the day, they've gone from second to second, and they're telling a young lad, Erling Haaland, at 24 years old, to stay humble. Half of that team never won a medal. Erling Haaland's won everything there is to win in European football at 24. He's also broke the goal scoring record in England, which their guy who's got a statue outside, Thierry Henry, couldn't get near. So, it's not asking us to stay humble, lads, but, it's really us. You're not getting the stay humble comment. It's not, it's not resonating, but listen.
You're never going to get it.
Never going to get it. Never.
When Haaland's pointing at the actual gold Premier League badge, and he's like, yeah, there you go, lads.
You need one of them. And then on the shirt, it says World Club Cup Champions. Nice and proud. It's just,
that's something I always say when you mention the World Club Cup or the Super Cup to them. They say, "Oh, no one cares about that," and I say, "I understand why you don't care about it. You kind of you have to win something to get into it."
Yeah. Hey, Daps, do you know they've started a petition to get me off the Big Six?
Is that going to go through the Houses of Parliament?
Yeah, I think if you get 100,000 signatures,
you might be needed, mate.
It'll get heard in about 5 years.
They're getting a petition to get me off the Big Six, because apparently I'm horrible and I don't bend over for them. And they're getting they want Turkish out of the Big Six, but Turkish owns the Big Six. So that's like asking Elon Musk to get out of Twitter. Ain't gonna happen, lads. So this is how weird they are. You know what I mean? So they're getting petitions to get me out because I upset them. And Turkish, who owns the Big Six, they want him out because he didn't shout at me on the telly.
Right. Keep subscribing to the channel, liking and commenting, because again, you don't get how helpful that is as well. Akash is saying, in his opinion, David Silva is the best player we've ever had. I would not disagree with that.
I second that. and I get abused for it, but I'll second
Oh,
it.
no, I agree with you on that.
Who's abusing you for that?
No, honestly, the amount of debates we've had late night about the old KDB, and also Aguero, my God. We'll be throwing Rodri in there in about a year or two.
Yeah. Appreciate the super chat from Mark Spilling, who's just supporting the channel. Appreciate it a lot. Another one. God, we've got loads of these. Sorry. From Michael O'Connor saying, Pep ideally wants players who know exactly what they're doing, not necessarily players who show for the ball. Pep's never had full trust in Foden.
I don't know what that last bit means. He brought him on in the Champions League final to replace Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah,
Great point.
Seems like a pretty big moment of trust there. He could have brought on Mahrez.
I'm going to dig on this, sorry, and I know not everyone's a GNA, and I'm not a GNA guy myself, but he's gone 10 goals, 5 assists. He's on the same...
You GA merchant.
No, but he's on the same sort of level as he has been throughout his whole season when everyone said he's been great. I'm totally lost now. People got to look where Foden kick-starts in the second part of the season.
Well, please make sure he kickstarts
this season.
Against Real Madrid, please. Can he kickstart then?
I think everyone's been bad this season. It's crazy.
If Pep isn't trusting the player of the season, then I am very, 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 very concerned. Because, no, sorry, look, each to own, but no, I don't agree with that.
Hold tight, Eric, saying too much complacency in this team and new hunger needs to be found. Yeah, and hopefully we found that. Hopefully we have found that in the new signings. Next one, another one from, God, I don't want to ruin that. I don't want to say something. Kuki Haishi. Thank you very much for the support. Another one from David saying, new favourite City channel. Keep up the good work. Massively appreciated for that. Thank you very much. Another one from Carrie, who's saying, hi from USA. Big up to the panel. Love this show. I miss Diaz, Rodri, both big leaders for the squad. Tone, good to see you. Miss you on X, my friend.
I think over here now. I don't need that X in his life. Once you see him, fucking shite.
Who needs your X? Never go back to an X.
Really?
I've got a fake account on there trying to sell people tickets. It's not
I noticed that today.
Again, that's every month.
Well, you doing you? I looked at it.
He's even used my tagline, easy people, the cheeky bastard, as well. You know what I mean?
I personally think they could have used a better picture, you know. Could have got a better picture.
Man. Do you think Rodri will be back in the Premier League soon? I hope he's not back in the Premier League until August.
I don't want him to be, but I don't know why. Freaking see it.
April.
I don't know why.
April.
No, I don't want him. Listen, we saw Van Dijk for Liverpool that season back in training late January, early February. It doesn't mean that there's a difference between being around the training pitch and actually being fully in training. Look, I hope he isn't back, but
they are going to register him for the Champions League.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? I don't want to see him.
Mind games. Chill. It's all good.
And listen, I'm not going to lie. If we get to a final. If we get to a final in it's in Munich this year, isn't it? If we get to the final, I'm not mad with seeing him come on in the 60th minute of the final. But that's not the Premier League. I don't want to see him.
He goes off on a stretcher again, and you're like, no, here we go again.
Yeah, another Vinny. Right. Fee. Anyone want to chime in? Thank you.
Gilmer
loving the channel, lads. Balties for all.
Excellent choice.
Yeah, I mean,
that's absolutely. A t-shirt idea for your feet.
Yeah,
Balties for all. Wait, quick.
What something like sex, city, drugs, and chicken balti pies or something like that. The South Stand would love that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Beers and chicken balti pies, city beer and chicken balti pies. That's a t-shirt for you.
Hey, there you go, Martin B. That's what you call the new show, Balti Pies.
Or you could have on the front, you could have something like a picture of what goes better than De Bruyne and Haaland, and then on the back, a beer and a Balti.
Oh, no, that's a good choice. City Balti Pies.
City Balti Pies.
Right, well, I've got a list of names. Steve, we've got so many names. I don't think we're going to be able to go through them on the show. I think you and I need to go through them.
Yeah, we'll choose one and then we'll get someone a nice shirt.
Maybe on Thursday or something, when we've got a smaller panel, we'll do it and we'll go through. Because literally, I had to go through and type them all out today. There's 160 different suggestions. So
right, we'll have a look through them. We'll have a look through them. Is there many more? Go on,
no, only a couple more. Jimmy says, like the stream, you bozos out here like a kanji. Yeah, for real. Next one is, what's the guy's thoughts on the impact of Echeverry? Do we think he'll come in?
I saw something about him today. In one of the tabloids I read, it said Echeverry on loan, he's going back to River Plate till January 26th. That's not right, is it? He's supposed to be coming in, isn't it?
He is, yeah.
Every couple of weeks' time.
We will see.
We'll have a break. He's playing tonight, and they're playing a game tonight, apparently, in Brazil. What's it on that? Can we watch that in the UK?
Have you got a fire stick?
Spartacus in the channel now, so Spartacus there. But apparently it's very hard to find it. It's not the easiest thing.
Sky. Is it on Sky?
It's probably on Dave +1 or something.
Yeah.
Next one from Sumi. Sumo Dog, sorry. Arsenal fans are super gremlins, can't be fed after 5 p.m. Yeah, they've literally moved like gremlins now. I know exactly what you mean by that now, Steve.
It was my theory on him, but mad.
Beating City is a trophy for Arsenal. It's sad to be honest.
That's so true. That is so
true.
true. I thought that, honestly, that's when they were doing the firework display and the fire show and playing a song. I'm like, what are we doing here?
It's on YouTube apparently, so we can get it on there. I might watch that.
Right, so Bert Shade is asking, Gundo, KDB, Bernardo, Grealish last seasons.
2 of the 4, I think.
I think 3 of the 4. I think maybe 3 of the 4. I think Bernardo.
Can we? Do we want to talk about Jack Grealish, because there's definitely something not right there? You know.
And the last one, our midfield or Dap's delivery of specs slower. Definitely my delivery of specs, to be fair. They haven't arrived yet.
Grealish.
I mean, I don't know where he fits in. I mean, I love Jack. I do. I think when he's on it. But we've all got to. I mean, he's another one. We've defended him as a fan base. We love him, and we've wrapped him in cotton wool, and we've not let anyone get to him. And after the Euros, the nation was on his back, and we thought, you know what, let him come back and prove them all wrong. He's just not done it this season, has he? And I feel like him and Pep have got a little bit of tension there. I don't know what's gone on, but I just feel like it's not right. And I was very surprised that he wasn't linked to a loan move somewhere in this window just to get him playing football. But I don't know. I mean, does anyone have any theories on it? What's gone wrong, or you know?
Didn't he do like a cryptic Instagram post as well or something? Like he was.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
What was it?
Hold on. Are you meaning the one a while ago?
It was a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? It was like a message on a glass or something.
Yeah, that's right.
It was I can't remember what it was exactly. It was something like if you can't support people when they're at their worst, something along those lines. It was really weird, cryptic. I didn't quite understand what it meant. Yeah, sorry, Tony.
Yeah,
go on.
No, I was just going to say Grealish has played, I think, something like 78 minutes of 540, which I did a bit of research on that the other day because I noticed he hadn't been playing for a little while. Steve's right. We do wrap him up in cotton wool, or some of us do for sure. It was a massive season for Jack, this one. I think everybody said it at the start. He has to perform to the treble season to survive past this summer. It simply hasn't. And people say he hasn't had the opportunity. I always think when players don't get an opportunity, there's a reason why they don't get that opportunity, because Pep's not seeing it in training. So, yeah, sadly for Jack, I think his time is up at City. I believe there's some off the field stuff, which I'm sure other people have heard, and different things and all the rest of it. So, yeah, it's sad really. And it's not been a great signing, one season in 4, as it will probably likely be. But I think I was on a show recently and somebody said the game sort of passed him by a bit. And I can't remember what show I was on. And somebody said that about City have sort of passed him by the way we're playing now, and the style that he brings out on the left and so on doesn't really work for us anymore. We're sort of targeting different sort of players for that area. So I just think it's best.
How many times have we been screaming out for a player like Jack in a 10 role or an 8 role who can go left, he can go right, he can shoot, he can pass, he can win us fouls, free kicks, head to the box. He could basically keep the City machine ticking over. Nice one-touch football. But Pep, for some reason, reluctant to play him. The Forest game at home, prime example. He had a good game. And then Pep said, "Oh, maybe I'm wrong." But then he I don't know. He looked like he was a bit dishevelled when he come on the week after. He just didn't look right to me. And like you say, if there's cryptic posts knocking about, you don't know what's going on. But for £100 million player in his fourth season, is it now, or fourth season, he should be one of our first names on that team sheet. He should be one of the first ones. We should have been building that side around Jack Grealish, and it's a shame. And
in the last 6 games, he's played 33 minutes.
In the last 6
games, 33 minutes.
And he's been on the bench, hasn't he? Like, he's been available.
Yeah, he's been on the bench.
It's not like he's training.
Literally, McAtee and everyone is now getting on ahead of him.
Yeah, it's weird.
I'm going to listen. I love Grealish. Sadly, I think it's time to move. To me, I think he needs to go back to Villa. He needs to go back to being at home. You know, enjoy. I was talking to Villa fan, and I think that could happen. I do think Villa will be on. We're going to take probably 30-40 mil for him.
And he'd take a pay drop probably and go back to Villa, to be fair, to end his career. He would.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it, and it's sad to say, but it's time to move on.
Can I just say one thing as well? I forgot to say it. A really well-known Man City fan called Nick Travis, he passed away this week. You might know his brother Martin Travis. Trav has been a City fan. Both of them, all their lives. Fucking bread and butter Man City, love the club. Great people. Martin, his brother, was the one that, you see, the ball was coming in the south stand and the bald guy headed it. Bang. And on that like clip, that was Martin. I seen him at weekend. He's on Cheesy's vlog, and he was talking about his brother, and it's quite humbling to listen to it. But I just want to say, rest in peace, Nick, Trav, and Martin, and the family. I wish you all the best. And from all the City family, he's already said the support he's had is amazing, and I just wanted to put that out there because I forgot to do it on my own channel.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah, spot.
Right, we've had a few more super chats come in really, really quick. First one from David. He said, what is the best away day you've ever been on? I think I know mine.
I'm not including Istanbul. That's too obvious.
Oh, right, you're taking it out of there. Okay.
Yeah. Palace 13-14, because that was the game where that was the Gerrard slip that happened.
Yeah,
like, you know, we were all watching it, you know, in the TV outside Sellers Park. And then that was the game where Yaya Toure absolutely destroyed all of Palace's midfield. It's one of the best games I've ever seen from him. So that was like a massive game in the title race. So I go for that one, 13-14, when we won it under Pellegrini.
Steve?
6-1 Old Trafford.
I think we're all going to go different, you know.
Yeah.
Well, if we can't do Istanbul...
You can do. I just wanted to have variety.
No, I hear you. Istanbul's too obvious. I
know one for you, Daps.
Go on.
Blackburn away, 3-2. Uwe Rosler, Paul Walsh, when they were champions in the wet Ewood Park, and we had no chance of fucking Dunham.
And Tony Coton gave the ball to Shearer to fire it back.
Yeah.
See you, mate.
Keith Curl penalty, I think. Did he?
Is that really what we're doing, though? We're really going that far back.
We've got to listen. Me and Martin have talked about the main road days, and we had this, and we were going to do a show together. We didn't do it. But I think in a few weeks, when we come on a night when we you know, we'll do a bit of a main road sort of theme, and we'll all pick some mad moments or whatever. We'll do something like that.
Yeah. But, by the way, mine is Ewood Park, but it's the promotion one.
The promotion,
when we were doing the conga around Ewood, and that's what it was. I've never done the conga in an away ground, and I'm sat there.
Well, not many people have. Not many people have, Martin.
Well, I'm doing a conga in a home ground. This is amazing.
Jack will be fine. Bernardo's going nowhere. We have too many others who are too old. Yeah, I'm kind of a similar opinion that we can't get rid of too many players, and that might mean that Bernardo and Jack actually do stay.
No, Jack's gone. I'll have Alan a £20 bet to charity. I'll
there
even
go.
go in the club with him. Jack's gone in the summer. He won't
next
like
one,
it, but I will.
Eshiviri playing Chile right now. Oh, is it right now? Okay, well, we can watch it.
Yeah, they're playing now.
And the final one, we want Typical City on the South Stand. Listen, Typical City is quite difficult to get hold of. I did reach out to him on Twitter, and he said he was quite busy. Pardon me, but if you do speak to him, let him know that Daps is ready for him to come on whenever. But like I said, I have reached out to him. He was busy at the time when I reached out to him, so we'll see. One more's just come in. Great stream, guys. Thanks for representing on the big sit, Steve. They couldn't cook you, bro. You cooked them. Right. So we're gonna vote on the name for this show on Thursday. Myself and Steve have got a show, so we'll go through some of the names on there. There's some good ones, some hilarious ones on there. Anything else we need to speak on? Right. Anyone
Daps,
on the panel?
sorry.
Yes. Yeah,
Daps, can I just say, I just want to say my favourite away day. I've got two very quick.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. We beat Tottenham 5-1 away. I think Nasri was amazing.
Debut. Nasri on it.
With this weird
I think that was
Nasri and Edin Dzeko ran the show.
And for different reasons, I went to Elm Park, which is Reading's old ground. My dad took me on a Tuesday night. Kavalashvili played. The worst fucking player I've ever seen in my life. He just stood on the 6-yard line, did fuck all.
Have you seen him now? Hey, have you seen him now? He's the president of Georgia.
Oh, he is. Yeah, no, I have seen that. Yeah. We lost 2-0 to Reading Tuesday, and the away end was full. And I loved it, though, because even though you lost, you knew City was shit. You just turned up. It's different nowadays. Yeah. And I just loved it, because I can't remember how old I was, 14 or something.
Can I change mine?
Go on then.
He's just reminded me of Spurs in the FA Cup. Arnie Arneson.
Oh, yes. Great show.
That was the best ever FA Cup comeback ever, that was, to be fair.
You know what made that worse as well? I left my tickets because, cause I went to Mum's. Mum's always like to stack plates up in like posh areas and all that. And you have your nice plates and all that. I put my tickets on the plates. My mum just came in, brand new dry plates, put them on. Halfway down the motorway, realised the tickets were still back at my mum and dad's. Had to ring White Hart Lane, begging them, trying to get all the City, trying to get all the White Hart Lane to give me replicate tickets for the stadium, and literally got in like 2 minutes beforehand. So yeah, that was just mad. Shit myself all the way down.
One last super chat's coming from KP Masters. I'm several minutes behind, but a few words on Foden as a foreign fan. Foden is our golden child, and I appreciate everything he did last year, but he has underperformed. I think it's valid. He has underperformed. He has underperformed this season by the standards that he's put himself to. Right, over to the panel. Any of you guys got anything coming up you need to shout out?
I will be releasing my NICO GONZALEZ tactical analysis video later this week. It'll be hopefully before his debut, so stay tuned for that. It'll be a good video, I promise.
Lovely.
Tag the channel in it and we'll share it, no problem.
Yeah, well, I've actually, and for everyone that's got a channel on this panel, it's actually in the description, so you just go in there. In fact, it's probably even in the title as well. It's tagged as well, so you can go to everyone's channels. Please make sure you head over to everyone's and give them all a subscription. Martin, you got anything coming up?
No, up till Thursday, but I'm trying to find the Leyton Orient fan. So if anyone is a Leyton Orient fan, you want to come on, have a chat, by all means, because
Eddie Hearn is. Can't contact Eddie Hearn. He's Leyton Orient, isn't he?
Yeah.
Someone said that.
Yeah, he literally owns the ground that they play on.
Yeah. And it's still called Brisbane Road as well. I thought we'd have one of them fancy sponsored names by now. They haven't.
Anyway, we will be back. Well, Steve, over to you. Sorry.
No, I'm just going to say this is only the second episode of this show. Yeah. Considering we've been whacked 5-1, we've kept it light-hearted, we've kept it moving. There's been no bullshit. No one's arguing. We've had a few people disagree with things and not disagree with things. That's the level we're trying to keep it at, people. And we really appreciate the support. The love for the channel's been amazing. The growth of the channel's been amazing. The people coming up to me at the ground at weekends saying, love that new channel. I just think it's something new. And like you say, everyone's got a platform. You can come on, but this show's real. I like the balance of the show. I feel like we can all talk about different things, and everyone brings something different, and it's great. So please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Please share. This helps a lot. Share this stream to Facebook groups, supporters club groups, WhatsApp groups. People don't know about us. So, thank you for the support. Daps, tell us what we got lined up. You know better than me what we've got coming up on the channel.
Do you know what? I don't. One last thing I was going to say as well. When the show ends, can you please, in the comments below, so not in the chat now, in the comments below when the show ends, please comment which signing you are looking forward to seeing the most and which you think will have the biggest impact for the rest of the season. So tomorrow we will be live again tomorrow night with more City Chat. I want to talk about the captaincy, the fact that we have now handed the captaincy over. I also want to talk a bit about the new sporting director and the fact that he is joining us early now. And then Thursday, we're going to have the usual show with myself, Steve, and I think it's going to be Huey this week. And yeah, just keep listening. There's going to be content every single day on the channel. I've
got Keith Curl that wants to do something. So basically what I was thinking is I might bring Keith Curl on this show because I feel like we could all have a good laugh with Curly on there.
Yeah.
So we'll get him on and we'll get him chatting. And I've got a few lined up, but I don't want to. I've got a few lined up that said they want to come on. So we're going to get some good players on and have some good chats. And MCFC lads is coming on again this week. I'll do something.
Is he coming on again? Oh, lovely.
Yeah, I might preview Leyton Orient with him or something. But listen, I just want to thank everyone for what you're doing. And it's a goodbye from us. So thanks very much. Come on, City, keep the faith. See you soon.